Hey there, my pivoters. If you're a public sector employee or former public sector employee and you are moving from a mission-driven environment like public sector, higher education, military services, nonprofit work, or the likes, today's video is for you. And I want you to pay close attention because we're going to share how to create a pivoter's executive summary that's going to get read by private sector employers. So the private sector reader may not understand your title, your agency structure, pay grade, or your internal process, but they can understand business problems like people problems, service problems, cost problems, risk problems, and results. So that is the translation work that we're going to do in this walkthrough. And the reason why translation matters is that we're challenged as pivoters from the public sector to the private sector, as private sector or public sector professionals, to not lead with years of service or experience, grade levels, departments, or public service values instead of clear private sector business fit. It doesn't mean that your experience is less valuable. It means the language may be too internal for the reader. A private sector recruiter is usually scanning quickly. They're asking, can this person help our team move faster, serve better, risk, reduce risk, improve quality, manage people, handle customers, or deliver results? Your materials need to answer that question or those questions without making the reader work too hard. So, public sector work often values process, stewardship, compliance, fairness, and service, while private sector readers may value those things too, but they often listen for speed, scale, customer impact, revenue support, cost control, productivity, risk reduction, and growth. Your job is not to abandon your values. Your job is to connect your values to outcomes that the new audience can recognize and relate to. So here's step one of our walkthrough. Name the business equivalent. And that's the business equivalent of what you did or what you currently do in your public sector role. Do not start with the agency term. Start with the function. If you coordinated a public program, that may translate into program operations. If you handled compliance files, that may translate into regulatory documentation or audit readiness. If you say served citizens, students, patients, or residents, that may translate to customer experience, stakeholder support, or service delivery. The words change, but the value remains. Do you follow me? Then step two is to add scale. Step two is where private sector readers care about size because size helps them judge fit. Did you support 50 people, 500 people, or 5,000 people? Did you manage on site or one site or several locations? Did you handle weekly reporting, quarterly reviews, or daily service volume? Scale helps the reader understand the weight of your work. Without scale, strong experience can look smaller than it is. So that's where we go to. Step three now, to show the result. And Here are four examples. A data analyst leading with dashboards and decision support. A retail district manager leading with revenue, staffing, and store performance. A nurse educator leading with training outcomes and patient safety improvement. Then, number four, a nonprofit program manager leading with grants, partnerships, and service delivery. These examples come from different fields on purpose. Your audience includes career changers, administrators, analysts, educators, technicians, managers, and frontline leaders. So your goal is to show that translation is not limited to one career lane. So let's look at a before and after walkthrough. Let's do a simple one. Before, you might hear or read responsible for coordinating services and preparing reports. That's accurate, but it's too flat. After could read like this: coordinated weekly service operations, tracked performance issues, and prepared leadership reports that improved visibility into delays and resource needs. See, the second version gives function, action, and value. It still sounds honest, but now it gives the private sector reader something to work with. Another example: before might read, worked with multiple departments to complete special projects. But after would read, partnered with cross-functional teams to complete time-sensitive projects, clarify handoffs, and keep stakeholders aligned through status updates and issues tracking. This version works because it uses private sector language without exaggerating. It shows collaboration, project coordination, communication, and follow through. So, where do you want to use this? Or where should you use this? Use this translation in four places. First, use it in your resume summary so readers see your direction. Second, use it in your top bullet points so the proof appears early. Third, use it on LinkedIn so recruiters can find and understand you. Fourth, use it in interviews so your stories do not sound trapped inside your old organization's language. So, here are some public to private translation questions, or as I like to affectionately call them, P2P translation questions. Ask yourself these four questions. First, what business problem was under the public sector task? Second, who benefited from the work that I did or currently do? Third, what risk, cost, time, quality, service, or compliance issue was involved that I impacted? Then, fourth, ask yourself, what words would a private sector employer use for that same kind of work? These questions help you move from internal language to market language. And you need that market language if you're pivoting from public sector to private sector. But before you rewrite anything, make a plain language note beside each line. For example, this was really about customer service. Next, this was really about process improvement. This was really about vendor coordination. This was really about data accuracy. Once you name the real function for each one of your current bullet points on your resume, the rewrite becomes easier. Then, after you rewrite, read them out loud individually. If it still sounds like only your old organization would understand it, simplify it. If it sounds exaggerated, pull it back a bit. The sweet spot is honest, clear, and relevant. You're not trying to impress by sounding corporate. Remember that. You're trying to show how your experience creates value in a new setting. So take heed to this common public to private pivot warning. Do not erase your public sector experience or background. That background is a part of your strength, but do not make the private sector reader decode it alone. Keep the truth, change the frame, lead with the problem you solved, the people you served, the systems you improved, the risk you managed, or the results you helped create. So here's an action step I want you to take. Choose one section of your resume and translate 3 lines. For each line, write the original public sector version. Then write the private sector version. Ask yourself, does this show function? Does it show scale? Does it show impact? Does it use language a recruiter would search for? If your answer is yes to these questions, you're moving in the right direction. Give yourself time to learn the new language. You're not starting over. You're learning how another market describes value. The first draft may feel awkward, and that's normal. Translation takes practice. Read job postings, listen to how people in your target industry talk, and keep a list of phrases that match work you have truly done. Then use those phrases with proof. This is how you build confidence without pretending to be someone you're not. We're going to do a P2P mini case study as a part of this walkthrough, and I know it'll help you in this journey. So let's imagine a public sector professional who coordinated a program, handled questions, tracked data, and prepared updates for leadership. In the old language, that may sound like routine administration. In private sector language, it may show program operations, stakeholder support, data tracking, reporting, and issue follow-up. That is a very different impression. Nothing about the experience changed, just the frame changed. So, how I want you to practice this week is to choose one target job and collect 5 phrases from that posting. Make sure it's a posting for a position that you would be interested in pivoting to. Then, right beside each phrase where you have done similar work. If the phrase is process improvement, name that process. If the phrase is customer experience, name the people who served and the issue you solved. If the phrase is reporting, name the decision your report supported. This is how you move from hope to evidence. And just want to give you a little confidence reminder because I know you may feel like you're behind because you're learning a new market language. You're not behind. You're translating. And that is a skill within itself. The more you practice, the faster you will see your own experience through the lens of the roles you want next. Keep the message clear, keep it honest, and keep connecting your past work to future value. And just one more point. Do not translate your background into every private sector role at once. Choose one target lane first. Maybe that lane is operations, compliance, training, project coordination, procurement, customer success, analytics, finance, or program management. Once the lane is clear, the translation becomes much, much easier. If the lane changes, the examples you feature may also change. That's not dishonesty. That is relevance. So let's create a public to private interview bridge. So the same work also prepares you for your interviews. I hope you see that. When someone asks, Tell me about your background. You do not have to recite your entire public sector history. You can say, my background is in service operations, process improvement, stakeholder support, and compliance driven work. I'm now applying that experience to roles where I can improve systems, support teams, and deliver measurable outcomes. The answer gives direction. It also gives the interviewer a frame for the stories that you will tell next during your interview. So, one final check here before you use the new wording. Check these three things. Does it still tell the truth? And that is paramount, a given. Does it sound like like the target market? Does it connect your past work to the employer's future need? And if all of these answers are yes, the rewrite is doing its job. If one answer is no, revise it until it's clear, honest, and useful. So let's do a quick P2P recap. Name the business function, add scale, show the result, use words the target market understands, keep the public sector truth, but remove the language barrier. That is how you make your experience easier to evaluate and easier to remember. So, now if you want help with this process, the resume rewrite worksheet, use that and pair it with my HRBN modern resume and ATS optimizer where appropriate. And if your full goal is a public to private sector career move, explore my Career Search RX or public to private careers coaching program. Your background is not the obstacle. Untranslated language is the obstacle. Once you translate your value clearly, more doors can begin to make sense. Now, if you got value from this content, please give me a like because that'll help me to reach more job seekers and pivoters like yourself. And my goal is to help as many people as possible live their best career life. Also, share this content if you found it valuable with your network. I'm sure there are people in your network who are aspiring to live their best career life. Then also leave me a comment and let me know what type of topics you would like me to do future content on. And when you're comfortable, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because that will also help me to reach more people and it will tell the algorithms that this is great content that more people need to learn about. Also, I have free training coming up, and I'm going to do a an hour long, maybe 90-minute question and answer, job search question and answer session this week. That information is going to be below or in the description or bio. So register and come and join me so that you can get your job search journey questions asked, whether you're pivoting, whether you're returning to the workforce, whether you're starting out fresh, or whatever your career situation may be. I would love to have you to join me in this free session. But again, registration is required, and I'll drop the registration link below. See you in the next video. But until then, career success to you. Go get your new job.